A gowned man was confined here. 7 heavy chains coiled around him, 3 of which were broken. Though cradled by the remaining chains, the man still struggled to maintain balance, only occasionally emitting coughs so weak that they barely escape his breath. Without sound or light, unable to tell day and night, centuries upon centuries, the void remained the one constant theme here. Abruptly, the man's head tilted, as if sensing something. Simultaneously, another chain snapped, its metallic ring slicing through the heavy silence. There was no flicker of joy on his face, despite having gained one step closer to freedom. He simply stared ahead, his gaze piercing through the veil of darkness. From the depth of the black void, someone approached. No need for caution, it's me. A faint female voice sounded a few meters away. Seemingly a habit from her past endeavors, she maintained a guarded distance in conversation, even though the one she once considered a partner of her was in front of her. You're awake, Lantern.
你醒了。
Yeah, I immediately came looking for you after waking up.
可惜还是晚了一步。
Unfortunately, I'm a step too late. That's how things are. Exceptions rarely occur. Don't mind it.
无需计划。暌违多年。
After all these years apart, even under this circumstance, reuniting with you still gives me, well, a lot of comfort.
十分暌违。
一段时间不见。
It has been a while since we last crossed paths. Looks like your condition's taking a nosedive. It's nothing. My body's indeed falling apart, but I'm holding out until I settle my
素债
debts.
缠身，不敢轻易送死。倒是你，
You, on the other hand, must have fought your way here.
应当遭遇了不
Were you
少战斗
wounded?
吧？可有受伤？
你是指那些异象？
You mean those enemies? Thanks to you, I've gotten used to dealing with small fries.
没关系，我的命一直很
My
硬，
legs always
否
held.
则也没法活到现在。
Otherwise, I wouldn't be standing here today. For a moment, the man fell into silence, lost in thought. Yet, Lantern remained oblivious to his silence. Arms folded, she furrowed her
不
brows.
过，现在的情
However,
况
the
可不
current
怎么乐观。
situation isn't exactly
很难说会
rosy.
不会重现
Hard
当
to
年的
say
局
if
面。
we're headed for a rerun of the past.
你身上的束缚怎么样了？
How is that bind on you? Down to
至
the
于最
last
后
3
3道，
now.
动
That
作
was
太快，
fast.
不能再等下去了。
We can't afford to wait any longer, you know that.
我必须做些什么。
I need to do something.
如果有必要，
If it comes down to it, I'll eliminate all the
哪怕
threat
引发这一
myself,
切。
even if it was our old pa who started all this.
放手去做吧。
Go ahead and do what
我
needs to
相
be
信你的
done.
判断。
I trust your judgment.
先别急着下结论。
Let's not jump to conclusions just yet.
为了确保能消灭所
To
有的
make
不稳
sure
定
we
因素，
eliminate all unstable factors, I need one
你的
more
特殊许
thing.
可。
your special permission.
哦，
Oh, I see.
原来如此，
Go ahead then.
请吧。
Lifting his hand ever so slightly, he spoke. Like a pebble tossed into still water, the clinking of chains echoed out, rippling through the silence, causing the darkness to tremble.
以假为真，
Where
以虚
falsehoods
化实，
reign, illusions take
是
flight.
是非非，
Truth or lie,
皆为
fading
淡
from
忘。
sight. After a while, he drooped his hand and sighed slightly. Now you can temporarily harness their power.
你便可暂时借用他们的力量。之后的事
The rest
就拜托
is
了。
up to you.
陆逊，再见。
Thank you, and farewell.
如果这次的行动不顺利，
If this
我
doesn't
们
go
很快又不再见
smoothly,
了。
we'll be seeing each other again
盛
soon.
名之下无虚
Your
实，
fame speak for your
我相信
ability.
破其之
I
手的
believe
气
in
魄。
you, shrew of destruction. Now,
就让这次
it's time to
重聚
wrap up this
终
reunion.
止于此吧。
I'm afraid I can't see you off,
是我以
given my
现在的
current
境
condition.
况无法起
Please
身相送，
kindly forgive me.
请。
As the footsteps grew distant, everything dissolved back into the void. How can myriad changes
万
mask
变
the
奇迹
reasons
岂可改
behind?
写？
How can falsehood withstand the
说
test
虚
of
妄之
time?
可长。终究
In the end,
还
have we
是到
come
了
to
这一
this?
步吗？
And then everything returned to nothingness, as if nothing had happened.
好嘞，休息停当，
Alrighty,
咱也该带你们去
All right,
认识一下其他几位
time
数
to
了。
introduce you to the other shrews.
就从最好
Let's
相
start with the
处
most
的
agreeable
开始
ones.
吧。
Who's up first?
先去
Let
见
me
谁呢？
think.
让咱想想。你就直说吧。
Just admit it.
余下
The
的
other
数
shrews
都
are
是
all
和
as
雷同四
quirky
套差不
as
多的怪
the
人。
toast, aren't they?
那倒不是
Not
啊。
entirely
数
accurate.
中的确也
Among
有
the
个性温
shrews,
柔、善解人意的
some
存在。
are actually
虽
quite
然可
agreeable.
能和通常理
Though
解
their
中的
version
温
of
柔不太
gentle
一
may
样
not be what you
大
expect.
家应该能理解。
I'm sure you
当
all
一
know
个纯
this.
粹温柔
Being
善良的好
pure-hearted
人
and pleasant
并不足
isn't
以获
enough
得
to
一人
take on
二
the
实
10
现
faces
堂
of
堂的
misery.
啊，
That's
这
why
样
I'm not
子
exactly
咱才
thrilled
不想
about
在这
meeting
种
them
情况下
under
和他们
this
见面呀。
circumstance.
要怎么和他们解释呢？
How should I
因为咱也
explain?
是时
I
常
fail to
看
keep
着
an
你家
eye
里的
on
状景，
certain
还到
someone's
处溜达
heroic
走。
act, and Lang Chiu's a hot mess. Fine, let's go find Soha first.
还是先去找色拉吧。色拉，
Sala?
松雀，
Songchu, are
你
you
刚才
still
没吃饱吗？
hungry? Once we sort this out, how
等
about
眼
we
睛的
have
事
a
情
big
解决
meal
好，
back in
我们一
Okta
起和偶像
together?
吃大餐怎么样？没记错的话，
If memory
刚
serves,
才可吃了
you
不
had
少东
already
西。
had a big
你是怎么
meal.
解释的来着？
And how'd you put it
哦，对
again?
了，有好
When
饭的
there's
时
good
候，当
food,
然得
you
尽力
must
多
eat
吃点，
up.
否
Otherwise,
则
you'll
饿肚子的
regret
时
it
候
when
就
you're
不后悔
hungry.
了。啊？
You've got it
哎
wrong.
呀，
It's
错了错
Soha,
了，
not
此色拉
Sala.
非彼色拉。我提到的色拉
Saha
就
is
是
the
那位
gentlest
最
of the
温
shrews.
柔的树
Her full name
她
is
全名色拉
Sahatom,
佩姆，在
and
书中也
she's
有结
known
合
as the
这名。
shrew of union.
色拉应该不会为这
She
两天的事
probably
责怪
won't
咱们。
hold a grudge against us for things that
但
happened
想
over
要
the
唤
past few
醒
days,
她，却
but
未必是件
waking her
易事
up
呢。
might not be a walk in the park.
首先，
Wait,
这所谓的
why
温
does it
柔
not sound
听上去就
convincing
不可
when you
信。
said she's the gentlest?
你要这
Well,
样
when you
说
put it that
大
way,
家确
yeah,
实各有
everyone
各的
has their
性格。
quirks. No need to sweat it too much, everyone. As long as we can rouse the 7 shoes, it matters little to me whether they're willing to cooperate. For instance, if we strip them of their physical forms and funnel their powers into the spare gadgets. Unperception, don't blur out something terrifying just like that. Honestly, having that kind of backup plan makes me feel more at ease. Anyway, giving the 7 shoes a wake-up call is worth the shot at least. Beat sitting around. That's our dream seeker, always talking sense. Don't be like Unperception. Now let's go off to the library. The library? Do we need to look up something regarding that shoe? Ch2, you mentioned before how different Langqiu's library is from Axia's, right? Yes, instead of your typical storehouse, it's more like Sakapam's stronghold. It's all tied to her personality, though. No worries, once you meet her, you'll understand. Careful, guys. There are some monsters up ahead. Wait, why are they all frozen in place? They're not welcoming us, that's for sure. Let's check it out. Are those bullet holes in them? Could it be Lantern's doing? Is she awake already? Lantern, is she another shrew? That's right. She's tough and usually gets things done in a flash. Remember when I mentioned someone who could take down 10 Faces of Mystery single-handedly with her sheer strength? That's Lantern. But knowing her, now might not be the best time for a meet and greet. Come think of it, Chen Xue sent me a file earlier. Hold up a sec. Inside the Lantern organization restored by source matter. This is a research paper. It's a holographic research report that rescues historical context through source matter. Though it was published long ago, it should be much more credible than previous literary works. Comparatively speaking, the research report documents the organization that Lantern, one of the 7 shoes, established. Not quite, you got it backwards. Shining Lantern's Bright, Dispelling Shadows in the Night. The title probably refers to an official organization from 100 years ago, whose members were skilled and handled matters related to the curse of the shadows. The Lantern I mentioned earlier, her real name is Zavore. She just happened to be part of the organization. We call her Lantern because she's the only officer from that group who became a shrew, and also its sole successor. As for why that Lantern organization met its end, I'm not sure, or this is not just the 10 Faces of Misery. Donigui, do you know the reason? I have a feeling that Litos knows. He's him and I'm me. Plus, in my view, the shrews like me view regular people as their foes. It's only natural for them to keep mum about bad things. Maybe they're the ones responsible. It's telling the truth. That's why we're analyzing the situation here. It's definitely safer to thoroughly investigate things first. Good. At least you know that much. Before you head into that spine-chilling library, make sure you're fully prepared. Didn't think you cared about us so much. Where one stands depends on where one sits. Hey, what are you doing? Grabbing my head is one thing, but don't go grabbing me by the collar. I can't breathe. How dare you take advantage of my plight like that? I really can't let my guard down even for a second. Isn't there a saying, adapt to the situation or perish? Enough talk. Time to dive into the precious file. Look up lantern in the hologram. Yes, there's no need to be afraid anymore. What you saw wasn't a 1,000-year night god. Come on, unify with me. At the end of that dark wilderness, many people are waiting for you. Okay, this is getting interesting. Are those people the Lantern's members? Yes, in fact, we might even spot some old acquaintances. This person... Looks like this report is automatically simulating perspective based on the memories stored in the source matter. Mrs. Scudder, I never dreamed that you'd team up with me over such a simple task. Every mission counts toward keeping the city running. No need to rank them by difficulty. Besides, we're merely a step ahead of people we're protecting. We have to keep ourselves sharp, or we'll end up rusty as old tools. You're right, Mrs. Scudder. I'll keep that in mind. Actually, I ran to Miss Savoy earlier, and she said something similar. But I think she was wounded. She seemed to be weakened somewhat. She never holds herself back in battles. No matter the odds, she always gives it her all. It's admirable, but also her vulnerable point. Enough of that. Let's go over today's mission again. Are the tools all ready? We have the flowers, the net, the firearms, the candles. Yes, all good to go. Don't worry much. The case we're investigating today is likely artificial. Even if they're not needed, it's always good to be prepared. Let's go. Wait, that person whose perspective the report is simulating, haven't we met him before? Yeah, that's Scudder from Amber Street. And those events in the report probably went down during Lantern's heyday. Just a quick question. How long do Martians usually live? In Oxia, around 90 years. In any case, no one will look 20 when they're a century old. I only know Ch2-Ph1-Pt1. Even though Mrs. Scudder isn't a shrew, he's still incredibly long-lived and doesn't age, just like a shrew. Lantern used to say that because they were always tinkering with certain tools, all Lantern members live longer, but you need to be special to join them. I don't know the details. I mean, when things went down back then, I happened to be sick and hospitalized, so I missed out on a lot of news. But yeah, most Lantern members split the deaths for various reasons before the 10 Faces misery was wiped out, so cases like Scudder became a minority. I never thought that's how things went down. It all happened 100 years ago. Don't be sentimental. Should we keep looking? They actually showed up, Mrs. Scudder. Stay calm. Letting fear take over will only make things worse. Don't overthink it. Just stick to our training and face them head on. Alright. Oh no! Don't panic. Just focus on restraining the monsters. 3-mile mist, a century's dust, lantern branches into 9 to shine through 1,000 barriers. Okay, let's give it another shot. We did it! I did it! I did it!
我做到了，我做到了。
That's right. Monsters aren't so tough.
刚才的怪
Those
物可以
monsters
增强自
can
己的震
appear
慑
more
力，
intimidating to
使
deter
人对其
us.
产生无法
At
攻破的印
first,
象。
it's only
这
trickery,
起初是一种
but
诈
when
术，
our fear kicks
但与
in,
恐惧
it
感
starts
应，
packing
却
real
会逐渐
power.
让他们获得真正的实力。因此，我
That's
先
why I
用意
use
识
the
无限制
temporal
他的
net
行
to
动，
restrain them first,
随后以破
and
障灯
then
消除他
barrier-breaking
周身幻想，
candles to
使你
dispel
可
the
以轻易地把
illusions
击败。
surrounding them. This make it easier for you to take them down.
往后你遇到怪物，
In the
可以
future,
按这样的
handle
手
them
段
the
处理。
same way. Just
只要
make
充
sure
分利
you
用
make
组
the
织的道
most
具，
of the
印证新
organization's
生的怪物
tools.
并不会对我们产生威胁。
Okay.
从你的身上，我感受到了周期性发作的恐惧。有什么东西能比我还让你害怕？这么弱。
Greetings, esteemed guest. Welcome. I'm your personal shopping assistant, May. Oh, such a noble and elegant demeanor. You must come from a prestigious family. Allow me to recommend the most suitable rarities. Not bad. I see you have some semblance of taste. I'm currently in need of an observant servant. Such a fragile soul. Well, I think I'll stop beating around the bush with you. Kneel. The Old Amber Noodle House. Not exactly a tasteful name. You mentioned before that the recipe is a culmination of all your hard work. Isn't it because you're constantly nitpicking that the process became longer and longer? Even if the business is declining, you would never dare to abandon your traditional flavor. You keep saying that the traditional taste is not good enough anymore, but you're actually shifting the blame. What you're truly afraid of is that you are not good enough anymore. Looking at you, I'm sure you have had your past glories as well. You're afraid of being replaced, so you shift all the blame to the current times and bury yourself in culinary research. Of course, doing so is no different from slowly killing yourself. What do you know? Oops, I forgot to mention, I'm in fact quite knowledgeable about catering, as my family owns a few properties in this industry. Lower your head, and I'll consider letting you in on apprenticeships. The condition, of course, is 逆友. Oh, there's a customer. My uncle hurt his back and is recovering, so I'm in charge of the shop today. Are you here to buy a clock, or have a watch repaired, or both? Repairing watches seem like intricate work, but it's not something that requires intense focus. Wait, why is there an actual screw? Seems like your hands aren't quite keeping up with your mouth. Can't help it, I'm just clumsy, you know? The problem isn't that you're clumsy. You mentioned earlier that uncle will recover. The shop is owned by your uncle, and he wouldn't have the heart to fire his own nephew even if you make a mistake. In reality, you never really wanted to master your craft. What you want is to maintain the identity of an apprenticeship or a student for the long term. That way, you can avoid taking responsibility. What you fear the most is self-reliance and taking responsibility. I don't have much to say to someone like you. After all, in this world, most people can survive on their own. But relying on others for support while causing trouble for them, that's quite degrading, don't you think? Since we're being frank, why don't you listen to my proposal? If I were to extend an invitation to your uncle and offer you an apprenticeship in the Ch2-School family, do you think he would be pleased? That family known for strict traditions. Oh no, I definitely can't handle that. Please spare me, I'm not mentally prepared. Then I'll let it go. However, there's a condition. 逆友. It's but natural. We bear the weight of deadly sins, and if evil cannot be eliminated, then take its place. To me, the deed today will only add a peculiar hue to my collection. What a shallow taste you have. You never grasp the joy in things. Must we watch him perish just to abandon everyone? To prevent them from being destroyed, this act is necessary. Besides, even veiled in disguise, we remain the great evil. To escape damnation, one must venture close to death.